reside, cracking codes to flip the tide. Zeros and ones on battle cry. System fall, we watch them die. Hack-Attack, no turning back. Red meets blue in the cyber attack. Firewall burns, the signals cracked. Hack-Attack, yeah.
When I say the internet, you probably picture that soulless grid of apps on your phone, the endless scroll, all those tabs you lost track of. Me, I picture the wild frontier before it was paved and sanitized. Picture rotary phones, not smartphones. The shriek of dial-up tones, battling static, like two ghosts shrieking at each other down a copper wire. Back then, you jacked into a universe that didn't know your name, didn't care to. Those phone lines were escape hatches for outcasts and for me. Those wires were literally a lifeline. My grandmother rigged a second line in her little place, so I had a private on-ramp. The world outside was chaos, unstable housing, the kind of silence you learn in hard neighborhoods. But when I heard that hiss and crackle and the stutter of a handshake between two machines, damn, it felt like freedom. My first hack wasn't some techno-utopian pipe dream. It was stealing time from a payphone on Main, rerouting a call so I could talk to another misfit across town. To everyone else, it's just wiring and plasticky buttons. To us, it was a sanctuary built one number at a time. This is where things get weird in a good way. Phreaking, man. If you want to feel like a wizard in a world of muggles, this was it. We were tuning in, not up. Blue boxes, red boxes, the Captain Crunch whistle. Legend says Captain Crunch cereal had a toy whistle that hit 2600 hertz on the dot. That one pitch let you commandeer Ma Bell's global grid. Literal tones. Sound as a weapon. Sound as a key. It was subversive engineering, not vandalism. You got people like Joe Ingressia, better known as Joy Bubbles. Blind dude with perfect pitch. He whistled free phone calls around the globe with nothing but his lungs. Or John Draper, Captain Crunch himself, walking around blowing that serial whistle, making long-distance calls the suits never saw coming. But the real magic is how these hacks weren't just criminal or just practical. They were poetic. Some folks did it for free speech, others for the rush, a few for the cash. You had radicals, you had teenage bliss. You even had the mafia using blue boxes for untraceable business. That's the holy trinity of old-school hacking. Political, criminal, and just, delightfully weird. Phreaking wasn't a secret for long. October 1971, Esquire drops Secrets of the Little Blue Box. Suddenly, folk heroes and outlaws get mashed up into the same archetype. 1 minute you're hacking for the thrill, the next you're on the FBI's most likely to get wiretapped list. AT&T, scared witless, goes full surveillance state. Blanket wiretaps. Green Star level paranoia. Pushing Congress to write up new cybercrime laws in the 70s. The message was clear. You mess with the playground, you become the criminal. What's wild? These criminals became the proto-architects of modern tech. Steve Jobs and Wozniak, before Apple, they were hawking blue boxes in Berkeley dorm rooms. From crime to commerce, from hacking payphones to building the machines that had put 1,000 blue boxes in every pocket. Being bad never looked so good or profitable. Before the web, there was the BBS, the text-based basement world where you dialed in with a modem, usually late at night, hoping to hear the lilting squeal that meant you'd made contact. Each BBS was a micro-city, carved out by psysops running the show from their basement or bedroom. Living rooms turned into connective tissue for entire local scenes. You wanted files, you asked around. You wanted to swap cracked games or Juarez. Better be trustworthy. The intimacy was real, the impermanence even more so. Lines went dead. Nodes disappeared. Psysops ghosted. Most folks today think you just click a button to join a community. On a BBS, you earned your spot. And unlike today's permanent snitch networks, where everything's archived and scraped, what happened on a BBS might actually disappear. There's a kind of raw, gritty magic in that. You matter because you're present, because you showed up and swapped something with another ghost on the wire. Fast forward to 1988, and Jarkko Oikarinen out in Finland brings us IRC. Suddenly we go from delayed drops to real-time riot. Channels spawn overnight, Hak-Attack or phreaking, whatever, each with its own little warlord or chaos agent as operator. The RFCs start flowing, protocol gets standardized, and now you've got a chat protocol that can scale and sprawl anywhere electricity runs. It was underground radio with 1,000 voices, and when the Gulf War hit, IRC was the pipeline for raw, unfiltered information, bypassing censors and government press. You want information democracy in action? You join a war channel and get news hours before CNN even wakes up. IRC never really died, it just went deeper. To this day, if you're into open source, you still hit up Freenode, or you used to, anyway. The subcultures, the drama, the burning out of 1,000 personalities, they all left a mark on what counts as community online. IRC's DNA is everywhere, even if nobody wants to admit how feral it all was. So the web finally launches, right? Thank Tim Berners-Lee for the ill-timed birth of the HTTP universe. All those static pages with neon backgrounds, guestbooks, and clunky GIFs. This was before likes, before social graphs, before someone decided you needed an algorithm for everything. Viral wasn't a marketing term. It was a hamster dancing or some blurry all-your-base GIF getting passed around Usenet or plucked off a weird Angel Fire site. Meme culture was already there, just weirder. Zip files of inside jokes, ass-y art passed around for the hell of it. People built GeoCities neighborhoods for no audience but themselves, or maybe the 3 other people who stumbled in by mistake. If you knew, you knew. This was the meme primordial soup before everything got professionalized, and honestly, before we lost our collective sense of humor for inside jokes. Now we take a hard left into the absurd, something awful, and 4chan. If early BBS was a gritty speakeasy, these were full-blown troll factories. Copy pasta, long-form trolling, massively recursive in-jokes, humor as a weapon, anonymity as a shield. You want to see culture mutate overnight? This is ground zero. The split between normies and anons shows up here, and the distinction starts to erode. What's viral online pops right through to the surface world. Pepe the Frog's evolution from stoner webcomic to political weapon during the 2016 election is the case study. A symbol gets hijacked, twisted, and memed until nobody can tell if the joke is the point or just a vector for chaos. Social warfare driven by the bored, the brilliant, and let's be real, the nasty. Meanwhile, mainstream internet is left asking, what even happened here? While the playground burns and rebuilds itself nightly. And then, like a black hole at the center of the web, social media starts swallowing everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Stuff that was weird, underground, and raw gets packaged and algorithmically optimized for ad revenue. Networks go from public anonymity to public identity. You are your brand, and your brand is for sale. Reddit tries to thread the needle. Curation, upvotes, communities, but always with one foot in the underground. Meme templates become commodities, spitting out new breeds on the hour. Image macros, participatory remixing, the meme economy. All spinning in a loop. The playground starts looking less like the wild and more like a corporate mall, but every now and then, some pocket of chaos breaks through, reminding you that not all the weirdness has been tamed. You want to talk power online? Absurdity is the new rebellion. Now, weird Twitter, the black Twitter, Finstagrams. These were counter-narratives, ways to laugh, rage, and survive at the same time. When things get intolerable, the internet doesn't just organize. It memes itself into a riot. Movements like Black Lives Matter pulse at network speed. Then you get backlash. Gamergate, anti-SJWs, trolling as weaponized harassment. So shitposting becomes a political tool. My own take, having sat on both sides of the firewall, is this. Subverting, breaking, distilling absurdity to its core, all of that's more necessary now than ever. But it's dangerous too. What starts as escape or rebellion gets co-opted, turned into product, surveillance, or just one more filter for outrage and distraction. Full cycle, right? We started with Ma Bell surveilling phreakers on analog lines. Now it's bulk data hoovered at industrial scale, everyone's playground mapped and indexed. Curiosity, once a virtue, now criminalized if you poke too hard. But the old-timers, the digital underworld, that spirit, it still hasn't flamed out. Whether you're sidejacking at a coffee shop or rewiring a library public terminal like I did in '98 to get around content blocks, ducking policy, cracking the system, salvaging privacy in a panopticon, that's not nostalgia. It's a survival tactic. We live in a playground that's been renovated into a prison, but every so often someone picks the lock, and that, my friends, is why the signal never dies. It just changes frequency.
The whispers, a data stream, codes the canvas, paint the scheme. We're the ghosts inside the machine. Nothing's safe, not even your dream.